Today I have an in-depth review of Hollyland Mars 400S Pro video transmitter and receiver combo, so let's go. What's good guys, my name is Oleg Nikitin and you're watching No Limits on channel. So today we're having a review of Hollyland Mars 400S Pro video transmitter and the receiver. So let's see what's in the kit. It comes in a very small and compact box. In the box we have the transmitter and receiver themselves, also some instructions, a greeting card, they say hello to us, and also here we have 5 antennas, 4 antennas for the units themselves and 1 as an extra. Also we have some small protection covers for your antenna slots, let me say. And we have the power cord cable with the locking connection. It screws onto the mount and locks in place, but only one. So to power up the second, you'll need a separate battery or power bank. We'll talk about it in a minute. So let's talk about the weight. Each unit weighs around 200 grams, so both units around 400, of course. And the kit is not that rich. It's not that big, so that is why I prefer to carry those in this box to protect it, because it's made out of aluminum, I guess, or some kind of metal, and you can easily scratch those if you just throw them in the bag. Also, they sync automatically. When you turn those on, they just automatically find the right channel, the most clear channel, and connect automatically, which is great. What is a wireless transmission system? Basically, it means that you have a receiver, which is on the monitor, connected to the monitor, and the transmitter, which is on the camera, and the camera sends the feed up to 1080p 60 frames per second, and the monitor is showing the picture wirelessly. So you can send the signal, for instance, to your director, how do you pronounce it correctly? Director. Also to the client, for instance, and they can monitor the picture immediately, or to your focus puller, or you can use something like this unit, which is the ATEM Mini, and you can connect up to 4 different HDMI cables or HDMI sources and stream to YouTube. And for instance, you can stream from this thing, and your cameraman can be somewhere in a different part of the room shooting something interesting on the stage or anything else. So that's basically the usage for those units. This system has 12 megabytes, not megabits, but megabytes per second bitrate, which allows us to get very rich and nice bitrate for your full HD video signal. Okay, now let's talk about the units themselves. Here we have the SDI connector. I do have an SDI camera, but I don't have the cable, so it's just here. It has a lower latency, virtually no latency, and the HDMI out also, which has the latency. The HDMI always has some latency to it, but it doesn't have the HDMI loop through. So it's only one port for HDMI, and you cannot loop the signal to your monitor. You can do it only vice versa, from the monitor to the transmitter, but it will provide you with more latency, actually a lot more latency, and it's not the best choice for streaming, for instance. Also here we have the on-off switch, the place for the charger, for the cable to charge the unit, I mean to power the unit, not to charge. Also the USB Type-C port to power the unit via your power bank with power delivery. Also here we have the battery plate for Sony NP batteries, and the release button, antennas. Also here we have the OK button or the menu button, and 2 arrows up and down. So it's a pretty straightforward unit, and I do enjoy a lot of options for power in this unit. Those SDI and HDMIs are cross-convertible, so if you send the SDI signal from the transmitter and you get the receiver and you plug in the HDMI cable, it will cross-convert the signal and you'll get the SDI to HDMI signal. And it's a pretty cool feature. Oh, and I forgot to mention that if you use this wireless transmission to your, live streaming, it will be a little bit more with the latency than the regular straight plug into HDMI, into camera and to the ATEM Mini. So that is why you have to keep that in mind. It's not a huge latency, it's like 1 or 2, maybe 3 frames, but just something to notice. And now about the power options. So we can use the DC in with the cable, of course, but we have only one in the kit. Also, we can use the Sony NP type of batteries. The smallest one with 2000 mAh will provide you with 3 to 4 hours of usage. The bigger one with 5400 milliamp hours will provide you with 5 to 6 hours of work time, probably maybe even more, and the biggest one will provide you with more than 7 hours of work time, which is great. I'm using the middle one for 5400 milliamp hours, and I wasn't able to drain the battery while testing, so this is great. And as you can see right now on the Ninja, the signal is here, and I can use this transmitter as it should be used. And by the way, you can use your power delivery power bank. Here is the Xiaomi 20,000 milliamp hours power bank with power delivery, and you can plug it right here without any battery right there and simply use it as so. Great options. And now about the latency. There is no HDMI loop, so you can loop it through the Ninja 5, for instance, or through any other monitor with the loop function. But when you put the signal first into the monitor and then via the loop to the transmitter, you get a much bigger latency. From time to time, it can be like 4 times bigger latency. So if it's just for monitoring, for, for director or for your client, it's okay. But if it's for your focus puller or for your streaming needs, it's a much worse scenario. So that is why keep that in mind, and probably you shouldn't use a monitor when you do need this low latency. This design and this mounting mechanism is kind of limiting because we have only the hot shoe mount and the 1/4-inch thread underneath this mount, and this means that if the director has a special monitor, you have to know how to attach those things, and from time to time it can be pretty tricky. And if you have a pretty big and bulky rig, this also may be a problem because it takes not a lot of space, but it does take some space, and the only mounting point is kind of a bummer. Both transmitter and receiver have the LCD display, a pretty bright one. You can see it definitely in a bright sunlight. And here's the menu. You click and hold the center button. And here we have the scene mode. You can choose between HD mode for better picture quality, balance mode for both low latency and better quality for video, and the speed mode. The quality of the video is not as important, but the speed is the most important. For myself, I didn't see any difference between those modes. I was messing around with those and I didn't see the lower latency or the better signal, so I will just leave it in balance mode. Also here we have the fan speed. It's on auto by default and it's pretty silent, by the way. Let me do it like this. Probably when we will be using it for a longer period of time, it will be a little bit more pronounced, but we can use the slow setting or to turn it off completely. So we have some adjustments here. Also here we have the system setting, which is the pairing setting, then the language. By the way, here we have English, Chinese, Russian even, French, and some other languages. Also we have the reset to default settings, and nothing else here. Also, we can see the password for Wi-Fi. By default, it's 1234567 Also, we can see the version info and exit from here. So it's a pretty straightforward and minimal menu system. I like it. Some reviewers make a latency test, but I prefer not to do this because latency is a very tough thing to, record and to see. And basically it depends really on the camera, on the HDMI cable, on the monitor, on the unit itself, on the distance, on the interference and all that stuff. So you should know that it's a pretty low latency unit and you won't notice it if you're not doing something like extremely important. You'll be definitely okay with it. But don't use it with the loop out from the monitor. This will cause a much more latency effect. And you'll see it like from one camera, you'll see a hand like this, you switch the camera and it will do like this once again. So it's just a thing to notice. Hollyland Mars 400S Pro has 3 ways of work. 3 types actually. You can use 1 receiver and 2 transmitters, and no iPads, iPhones, smartphones at the same time, because you'll be using the HDMI cable and the SDI connector, so you'll have 2 signals at the same time for 1 receiver. Also, you can use 1 receiver, 1 transmitter, and 2 devices like smart devices via Wi-Fi, and they'll be showing you the picture as a regular monitor with low latency of 80 milliseconds, which is great. And also you can use no receiver, only the transmitter, which is receiver is here, the transmitter is here. Only the transmitter and 4 devices, like 4 tablets for instance, at the same time, which is great. Through the app you can do a channel scan and the firmware update of both units, which is nice, and let's go to the app. So guys, now about the app. As you can see on the mobile phone, right now we have the app working, and you can see the latency, by the way. Ooh, rolling shutter is here. And let's see what do we have in the app. Basically in the app we have several functions. It's the waveform, and if we press and hold, we can choose the opacity of it. Also here's the histogram, focus picking. If we press and hold, we can choose the color of this focus picking and the amount of focus picking, or the threshold. Also we can set the zebra levels, and you can also check and choose the zebra levels right here. We have the, how do you call it? You got me. I forgot the name of it. Whatever. And if we press and hold, we have a lot of things to choose from. Also we have a pinch to zoom function. We can scroll through the shot right here. Also here we have the false color tool, and if we press and hold, we can see all the values of your exposure, so it's easier to navigate. Also we have the monochrome function with different colors if you'd like to. Let's set the regular one, and the 3D LUT. We have here different log profiles, for instance S-Log3, and you can choose from those. It's a great app. You can also take a picture right here, make a small screen recording straight on the phone, and in here you can change the Wi-Fi password and choose a clearer, how do you pronounce this word? Clearer channel, more clear channel. So for the app, I give it a thumbs up. And now the most popular test for the wireless transmission systems, it's the range test. But you have to watch it with a grain of salt, because if you have a very busy Wi-Fi and cellular and all that stuff space, like you know, the middle of the city where it's a lot of stuff going on, you can get much worse results than you would get with a much smaller amount of Wi-Fi and cellular, for instance in the desert or in the forest, like I was using it almost in the forest, and I got a very, very nice result. But guys, you can get some worse results if you are in a busy place. So let's watch the range test, and after this we'll be talking about the pricing and the alternatives for this system. Let's go. So guys, now we're testing out the range of Hollyland Mars 400S Pro. I'm outside, the camera is on the 5th floor, here's an arrow, and I'm gonna be going away from it to the forest behind me. So I'm screen recording this part so you can see the connection and is it still sending the signal. So let's go guys. So I'm turning backwards to the camera, it is right behind me. Kids are screaming, the wind is here also, but we'll be going deeply inside of the forest in Moscow. Yeah, I live in Moscow near the forest. So guys, now we're around 70 meters. It said that it's 120 meters of range, as they say on the website, or 400 feet. That is why it is called 400S, by the way. So, and now we're going deeply inside the forest, and I can see myself still. Here's an arrow once again, where I am, and now it's around 100 to 120 meters, and I can see the signal still. It is pretty strong, and I'm still recording. Now we're behind the trees, and actually it's looking like 180 probably, and we still have the signal. So let's move further. Now we are at probably around 200 meters, which is more than they say, and we are keep going. I cannot see myself anymore, or maybe a little bit on the screen, and now it's much better than the advertised 400 feet. I guess it's around 250 meters right now. I'm probably not the best person in terms of, you know, measuring the length, with my eyes, but I think it's more than enough, and the Mars 400S Pro is showing, you know, great performance right here. So I'm still having the signal. When do we lose it? It's looking like around 300 meters right now on the open space, but when I was moving out of my flat, it lost the signal in the elevator, which is, I guess, okay for such a system. And we still have the signal right here. So where are we? It's lost it. So guys, let's go back and maybe we'll get the signal back. It will do it automatically, so it connects automatically and reconnects automatically if it loses the signal. My Ninja 5 is showing the kangaroo sign, which is the sign of the error, and it says that the signal was lost and something's wrong with the connection. And let's see when do we get the signal back. So I'm moving backwards towards the camera with the transmitter, and we have the signal back. So the signal is around 200 meters, which is more than the advertised number, and I'm very satisfied with the results. So guys, let's go back to the studio. So guys, now about the pricing. This combo, this unit and the whole package costs $650, which looks like a pretty big amount of cash actually. But if you look at the features, SDI connectivity, the HDMI connectivity, low latency, great build quality, and all that stuff, it's a pretty, you know, it's well worth it. Also, we have some different options from Hollyland. For instance, Hollyland Mars X, which is much cheaper. It's around 200, even less, like around $200. And it's only the smartphone or tablet compatible, so it's only the transmitter and your tablet or smartphone is a receiver. So it's a great option if you're on a budget and you want to have some kind of, you know, director's monitor or whatever. So also we have the Hollyland Mars 300 Pro Enhanced, which is HDMI only unit, but it has the loop through, so you can loop your monitor. First you of course connect your wireless transmission and then to your monitor, so you can look at the monitor and still have the great low latency transmission to your receiver. So you may consider this one if you don't use SDI and you need a loop through and you don't care about a little bit bigger latency, but it's not, you know, visible for human eye anyway, so I'm pretty okay with a little bit bigger latency. It's like 0.1 seconds and this one is 0.08 seconds, so it's okay. So guys, what do you think about those wireless systems? Do you use one? Do you prefer one? Which one do you prefer? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you do like this video, please smash the like and subscribe buttons, as I say in my videos, and the notifications bell, of course. And I'm gonna see you in the next video, guys. Take care and shoot some interesting stuff. Why did I say that? Whatever. Bye. Take care.